Public policy evaluation is a process whereby the impact, as well as consequences of a public policy are assessed. Essentially, whether a particular public policy has achieved its intended objectives. As indicated, in this video, we will be discussing policy evaluation in the public sector, by first discussing a brief overview of the public policy process and how policy evaluation fits into the whole public policy process. This will lead us to defining what policy evaluation is. We will then discuss the objectives and the purpose of policy evaluation, and then list the various types of policy evaluation, by also indicating when each type is relevant and useful. We will then conclude by explaining the benefits of undertaking a policy evaluation, and why policy evaluation is considered important. But before we do that, make sure that you support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and turning on the notification button on your phone. This will ensure that you don't miss out when we post new videos. Now, let us get into today's video. As an introduction, it is only fair and prudent that we provide an overview of the public policy process by first defining what public policy is. A public policy is a course of action by world leaders, politicians, lawmakers, regulators, government officials, as well as other stakeholders, to address the needs of the citizens, or to resolve an issue of public concern, or even set an agenda. Public policies are essentially developed and implemented to meet certain goals. There are various steps in the public policy process which involve identifying the problem, setting the agenda, developing and formulating the actual policy, implementing the policy, and once such public policy has been set, it must be evaluated. Before we continue, should you wish to understand more about the public policy process, please check out this video and other videos under our channel. We will also include the links to these videos in the comments section below this video. In this particular video, we will only focus on policy evaluation. Now, let us get back into today's video by first explaining what policy evaluation is. Policy evaluation can be better defined as a process of determining the quality, effectiveness, impact, and cost of a public policy, and assessing whether the objectives and the goals of such public policy have been attained. In other words, policy evaluation is a series of activities, as well as measures, to investigate the effectiveness of the public policy interventions, its implementation, and the various processes which have been undertaken to get to the end goal. Some of the objectives of policy evaluation is essentially to determine why such a policy was adopted in the first place, and also to determine the success or failure of such policy, as previously indicated. The main purpose of policy evaluation is to determine whether or not an adopted public policy is a success. If it is found to be a success, then whether such policy may be continued and replicated in other areas. However, if the evaluation process determines that the public policy, or any of its processes undertaken during its implementation, has failed, or has not resulted in the intended results, then the stakeholders in the public policy process would need to consider the following. Consider whether or not the foundation of the policy was based on incorrect data, unforeseen circumstances, or false theories. Consider whether or not there is a need to adjust some of the processes of implementation, as well as consider whether or not there is a need to cease from continuing with, or expanding on, such public policy. In the next section, we will then list and discuss the various types of policy evaluation. There are 5 most common types of policy evaluation, namely: formative evaluation, process evaluation, outcome evaluation, impact evaluation, and cost-benefit evaluation. Please note that some scholars and literature books may label these types differently or even include and list other types not mentioned here. But in this video, we will focus on these 5 types by discussing when to use each of these types of evaluation and what each type reflects, as well as why each of these types of evaluation is useful. Now, let us discuss each of these types of policy evaluation in more detail. The first type of policy evaluation we will discuss is formative evaluation. This type of policy evaluation may be conducted when a new government program or an activity is being developed, or even when an existing one is being adapted or modified. Formative evaluation ensures that the government program is feasible, appropriate, and acceptable before it is fully implemented. Formative evaluation is therefore a useful evaluation tool because it allows for modifications to be made to the plan before full implementation begins, which maximizes the likelihood that the program will indeed succeed. The next type of policy evaluation is the process evaluation, otherwise known as implementation evaluation. As this name suggests, this type of policy evaluation should be used as soon as policy implementation begins. However, it can also be used during operation of an existing policy. Process evaluation normally indicates how well the policy is working and the extent to which such program is being implemented as designed, as well as whether the policy is accessible and acceptable to its target population. Process evaluation is useful because it provides early warning signs for any challenges that may occur, and also allows policy makers and other stakeholders to tell how well their plans and activities are working. The following 2 types of policy evaluation, being the outcome evaluation and impact evaluation, are sometimes used interchangeably. There are, however, contrasting views regarding these 2 types of policy evaluations and what they aim to achieve. So, in this video, we will indicate what the varying views are, and what some commentators and authors say about these 2 types of policy evaluation, and would also appreciate your view in the comments section. Some authors argue that impact evaluation measures the immediate effect of the policy, and that outcome evaluation is concerned with measuring the longer-term effects of the intervention, and this usually corresponds to the intervention goal. Other authors hold the view that an impact evaluation paints a picture as to how a government program has affected the lives of participants on a broader scale. The outcome evaluation, on the other hand, would tell us what kind of change has occurred. Essentially, impact evaluation measures what impact a government program has had after its implementation, while outcome evaluation measures what actually happened after such a program was implemented. As indicated, tell us where you stand on this issue of whether outcome evaluation and impact evaluation are the same or different, and if different, when each of them should be applied. Also refer to the various articles on this topic. We have included the links in the description below this video. The next type of policy evaluation is the cost-benefit evaluation. This type of evaluation can be done during operation of an existing government program, or once the policy implementation have been completed. The cost-benefit evaluation is further used to measure the economic efficiency of proposed public policies through a systematic prediction of social costs versus social benefits. This essentially means that those charged with the responsibility of doing so would measure the benefits of implementing or continuing with the implementation of a public policy against the costs associated with the implementation of such policy or continuing with such policy. The cost-benefit evaluation usually provides tangible evidence for use in terms of funding decisions. It also should be noted that the term cost in this context does not only refer to monetary value, but also to the social costs of either going ahead with a certain public policy or not going ahead with such policy. In this next section, we will take a look at the various benefits of undertaking a public policy evaluation. Undertaking a public policy evaluation process can 1. Help governments improve the design and implementation of public policies. 2. It can enhance the chance of the policy goals and objectives of being achieved. 3. It can also assist in determining costing for implementing, or not implementing, such public policy. 4. It can also identify areas of improvement in order to provide the best service possible. 5. Policy evaluation can also contribute to promoting public accountability. Before we continue to the next section on why policy evaluation is important, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. So, in conclusion, the process of policy evaluation is important because public policies represent decisions and actions made by those in power. Since these decisions and actions affect every aspect of the daily lives of the public, it is therefore important to have a process of evaluating such public policies. Another reason is that it could happen that a public policy which may have been relevant a couple of years ago may no longer be relevant to the current times and under the current circumstances. This is why evaluating a public policy is so important during and after adoption, as well as after it has been implemented. Policy evaluation further ensures that governments are aware of any changes, if any, that may need to be done to a public policy. Policy evaluation also assess whether or not issues which were raised in the public policy have been addressed, or if such issues are still relevant. This video was proudly brought to you by Kano Consultants. For professional advice you can trust. For more videos on public finance and public administration, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. You can also connect with us by following us on social media at Consult Kano, or engage with us by leaving us a comment under this video. Or you can tag us on social media using the hashtag #ConsultKano. Until next time, check out these other videos. And don't forget to join us again next time for another video.